We're going to begin to lose people. The governor is en route. He's run into just a great engagement with the folks that were at the town hall meeting down the road. A lot of questions, a lot of good exchange. But he is on his way. I'm Chris Hamilton, and I'm with the West Virginia Business and Industry Council. And I've been part of the governor's road show here around the state. I said at the last meeting, where he was also running a little bit late, that we're the opening act for the governor. I'll be followed by a couple of individuals that's part of this broad-based coalition of industry, labor, state teachers organization that find ourselves in support of this bond amendment and will encourage your favorable consideration and support as well. For those of you unaware, the organization that I represent is also a broad-based business organization. It's an umbrella trade association comprised of the majority of state business organizations within the state. A few examples: the oil and gas industry, the coal industry, the state manufacturers, contractors, retailers, bankers, automobile dealers are all part of the West Virginia Business and Industry Council. We have looked at this bond issue about every way that you can, from a financial, from an investment, from the jobs, the economic development. We frankly don't see a downside. We wholeheartedly embrace this bond amendment that's before the voters this week, culminates on Election Day Saturday. We do not see a downside. It strikes right at the core issues, the core values of our organization. It will create jobs. It will provide needed repair and construction and basic infrastructure. It has the potential of elevating our whole network of roads and bridges and highway systems. And when we try to market West Virginia, when we ask new companies to consider West Virginia and to relocate here with their businesses and all the opportunities that presents, when existing companies look to expand, the basic accessibility and roads, getting products in and out, raw materials in and out, moving commodities, getting people to work, all that's vitally important to those considerations and decisions. It also, we find, adds to the everyday value and quality of life here in West Virginia and as West Virginians. Another top prime consideration that drives that decision making. Based on a Duke University study, there's the potential for north of 40,000 new jobs, highway construction jobs, engineering jobs, labor jobs. 40,000. Think about that number for a few moments. I also represent the state's coal industry, and we've experienced a pretty dramatic downturn. We've lost half of our state's production. We've lost half of our state's coal miners over the past 6-7 years. We're down to about 12,000 direct mining jobs. Passage of this bond amendment has potential of bringing in over 40,000 jobs. That's 3.5 times the number of working miners we have in the state. And those are high-paying jobs. And those are jobs desperately needed to provide just an astronomical infusion of dollars and energy into our economy here within the state. We, again, do not see a downside whatsoever. I think everybody acknowledges the national leading low workplace participation rate that we have here in West Virginia. That's measured by the number of people that's actually working that's eligible for a job, age-wise, physically-wise, and academically-wise. 1 out of every 2 West Virginians that's able to work is working today. It's the worst in the country. We have the opportunity to change that when you're, over the course of a 12-18-month period, going to be infusing 40,000 new jobs into the state. We look at the cost side of this. A lot of people don't realize because of some of the false information that's being circulated about. There are absolutely no new fees, not a penny in new taxes, no levy whatsoever associated with the passage of this amendment. All those revenue measures necessary to pay the bond going forward are already in place. So we get to upgrade and work on our infrastructure, make improvements across the state. We get to create north of 40,000 new jobs. Jobs, jobs, jobs. We front load all this into our economy for that major boost at no cost, at no new taxes or new cost levied on the citizens of this state. We honestly do not see a downside. We appreciate the opportunity to be able to spend a few moments with you here this evening. We've been charged to talk as long as it takes for the governor to get here, which we think is going to be about another 5 or 8 minutes. And joining me as part of our broad-based coalition here is Mike Clouser with the contractors, Dale Lee with the West Virginia Education Association, and Michael Haid with the West Virginia Engineering Group. So with that, again, I want to thank you for your time, thank you for your attendance, and we want to encourage your favorable consideration and support for this very, very important road bond amendment. Thank you so much. I'm going to turn the podium over to my friend and colleague, Mike Clouser with the state contractors.
Thank you. It is a great honor for me to be here. I've always liked Eastern Panhandle. My dad was one of West Virginians that had to leave the state to find a job back in the 50s. And we moved to Baltimore. So when we would visit our family in Greenbrier County, we would always come over Route 9. We'd always have 4-lane coming out of Maryland till we crossed the river and headed down on 9 and over there. And of course, one of the best part of the trips is when Route 9 used to be the roller coaster, and I'd always make him speed up when we went across the hills here. But I am pleased to be here today. I do represent members of the Contractors Association of West Virginia. We have about 425 members who are building West Virginia. Our members build schools, hospitals, water and sewer systems, and roads and bridges. And we represent about 20,000 West Virginians who are employed making a better quality of life for everyone. We have looked at this from twofold. One is the immediate jobs that we see will be created by increasing our highway program, because if you look at West Virginia employment in the construction industry, and I see my good friend Eric Householder on the House Finance Committee, and we had long discussions on the number of construction workers that have been unemployed in West Virginia for the last number of years. We have ranked basically at the top of the list in construction unemployment for the last 3 to 4 years. We are starting to see that turn around a little bit with a little bit of upturn in the economy, but certainly we are going to see an immediate effect of job creation in the state of West Virginia through the passage of the Roads for Prosperity bond amendment. But as you know, when you create jobs in one sector, you generate jobs throughout the entire economy. So as our members are working and their employees are working, we're buying cars, they are going to tourism spots, they are going to Kroger's, they're going to their doctor's office and dentist's office. So that has a great opportunity to create thousands more jobs throughout the entire state of West Virginia. When we listen to economic development people in state and out of state, you know, one of the number one issues of site selection is a safe and modern transportation system. And I don't think there's any greater part of the state of West Virginia that epitomizes that is the Eastern Panhandle, because when you look at Procter & Gamble, which a number of our members, one of my members is doing the site work on that. A lot of my members are working in the building phase of the construction there. When you look at Macy's, when Roadstoprosperity that is just announced, certainly when they look at workforce, but they look at a safe and modern transportation system as one of the top top aspects of locating a facility in an area. And certainly Eastern Panhandle has been to the benefit of that. We think that the jobs or the roads amendment has a great opportunity to provide that type of benefit for the entire state of West Virginia. In Charleston, we just had a groundbreaking 2 weeks ago for a methanol plant, which is going to be an in-use for the new a part of the ethane and part of the cracker industry that is coming because of the oil and gas fields throughout the state. Parkersburg is going to be seeing more of that. Northern Panhandle is going to be seeing that. And to have that opportunity to bring those industries into West Virginia, certainly we have to have an opportunity to modernize our highway program and modernize our bridges to make them safe and to make them productive. There's been some discussion as to whether this should be a pay-as-you-go or to do the roads, but or should we just go ahead and do the bond issue? We have looked at that as an association. We have not supported recent bond issues, but we are supporting this one. And the reason is that the legislature has provided the funding and the mechanism to repay the debt service, which will retire the bonds over the course of the next number of years. If the bond issue does not pass, then we do these projects on a pay-as-you-go basis. You're going to hear from Secretary Smith here in a few minutes, but we're still going to do the major projects throughout the state. We're going to do Quarter H. Hopefully, we will complete that road. We're going to have to do the I-70 bridges because they are crumbling, which is about a $170 million job. We have to complete Route 35 in the western part of the state to have a modern 4-lane there. All those are big projects that will be funded by the bond amendment. If we do not have the bonds to pay for that, then we will continue to do those projects, but we will do it at a slower pace. And in order to do those, we will just take money out of the existing program that we have for secondary road paving. We will take money out of our existing program for small bridge repair. We will take money out of paving or striping, guardrail, other safety issues. So every county that would be getting money because of the bond issue passed, certainly we will start cutting into those dollars because we will have to take those dollars to do these other projects here. So for those reasons, for the jobs that are being created, for the future economic development that's going to be created, for the future of getting businesses coming into West Virginia, we have wholeheartedly come out in support of this amendment. We appreciate the opportunity to be here today to talk a little bit about why we are in support of it. You're going to hear from some other speakers who have a little bit different perspective, but certainly appreciate the opportunity to be back in Eastern Panhandle. And I'd like to turn it over to Michael Haid. Michael heads up the Engineering Society for the state of West Virginia, who could tell you a little bit about their perspective of it.
Thank you, Mike. Hi, everybody. Well, if you can't tell, we look a little tired. This is the fourth one of these events for us today, and the governor is getting a little tired too. But we're really happy to be here, and I haven't spent a lot of time in the Eastern Panhandle in the last probably 10 or 15 years, and I'm really excited and blown away from what I've seen. The development, the roads are in a lot better shape here than they are in Charleston, in southern West Virginia. I can definitely tell you that. I represent West Virginia engineers, and I represent about 1,000 engineers in West Virginia. And there's been a lot of talk about these jobs. Well, who's going to do this work? Who's going to actually design these roads? Well, the answer is West Virginians are going to design these roads. The firms I represent are going to design these roads. My firms are going to hire hundreds of engineers to do this work. Some of them have already hired a few hundred based upon what's happening here in the top part of the pie chart. But as you can see, most of it is in the green area where the bonds are. And that's going to be done here in West Virginia. Those are good jobs. Those are $100,000 a year jobs. And those are the type of jobs that are going to make a difference here in West Virginia. The other thing people always think about with bonds, they think, well, I don't want to pay for a road that I'm not driving on. Or I don't want to pay for somebody else's road. Well, if you look at these maps over here, there are 138 projects in the Eastern Panhandle region with a $460 million investment. So these are your roads. I don't know how often you drive over to Corridor H through to Davis or Thomas or that part of West Virginia, but I've been driving that way coming the other direction from Charleston, and they've been building Corridor H, 20 years now? And I don't know if they're ever going to get that section done between Parsons and Davis, which is frankly the hard part. But basically the longer we wait for this stuff, we're all going to end up dead the time these roads ever get built, and that's just the reality. So the bond is all about trying to get the money in our hands quickly so we can get these roads built in a short period of time instead of taking 20 to 25 years. So that's what our goal is. It's like anything else. If you want to borrow money to build or buy something, you want to do it all at once so you can buy it and move in, just like a home mortgage or an expensive car. If you try to pay as you go, we'd all rent apartments and cars, wouldn't we? We wouldn't own anything because most of us don't have $100,000 to put down on a new home. So that's the whole point of the bonds. We want to borrow the money now in one big lump sum to do a lot of good. And I think that's exactly what the road bonds are going to do. And that's why hundreds of organizations support the road bond effort. So with that said, I'd like to turn it over to Dale Lee, who's going to talk about the teachers and student angles of the road bond. Dale?
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here with you in Martinsburg. My name is Dale Lee. I'm the president of the West Virginia Education Association. I'm a special ed math and history teacher at Princeton Senior High School. I've taught for 22 years before I became president, and this is now my 10th year as president of the Education Association. I spend a lot of time in the Eastern Panhandle, so much so I always stay at Inwood, and I just walk in now and they hand me a key and say, is everything the same? Yeah. So I'm over here a lot because this is important. This is important for me to come to listen to teachers across the state about the problems that they have. One of the things this road bond is important for, and I come from a little different perspective, is about the safety. It's about the safety of our kids. You know, our students, one of the reasons I became a teacher is to make a difference in kids' lives. And our students are the most important asset that we have in the state of West Virginia. It's everything we have. How many of you have either children, grandchildren, or great-grandchildren in schools right now? You would do anything to make sure they're safe, right? But as I've traveled across the state, I've seen roads that were caved in and the bus would have to stop and wait for parents to bring them as close as they can to pick up the students. I've seen a bridge in Fayette County that this bus would get to the bridge, stop, the students would get out, walk across the bridge, the bus would then go across the bridge, and then the kids would get back on it. That is just unacceptable. You can't do that in West Virginia. Now, I'm also a basketball coach. And as a basketball coach, we have a minute for timeouts, and we have 10 minutes for halftime. That's why they put me last. I can give the halftime speech or the timeout speech. And since the governor's arrived, and you didn't come to listen to me, you came to listen to the governor and for him to answer your questions, then I will close by saying this. The Eastern Panhandle is the only part of the state where you're hiring new teachers every year. Wouldn't it be great if we created jobs so that we could hire teachers all across the state every year? Wouldn't it be great if people started coming back to West Virginia with their college degrees instead of having to move away? And wouldn't it be great if we had the money to be able to pay teachers and service professionals a competitive wage so that they wouldn't leaving here to go across to Virginia and Maryland, and we could keep them in West Virginia? This roads bond is important. It's important to the prosperity of the state. It's important to get this state moving. And with that, I'm going to introduce the hardest working man that I know, and that's Tom Smith, who's the Commissioner of Highways. Is that right? Okay. It's been a long day.
Thanks so much, Dale. I appreciate the opportunity to be with you tonight. My part of this presentation is to be available for education, to talk about any aspect of the road bond program as we've organized it and let you all understand more about it. We encounter some key questions as we travel around. Question number one is, does it require new taxes? The answer to that is no. Question number two is, what's in it for me? And if you look at the map with the 600 projects, if you look at all the parts of the governor's program, the general obligation bond and the other parts, you get to this listing of 600 projects. So there's something in there for every citizen in the state of West Virginia, millions of dollars for every county in the state. And then the final thing, and you'll hear the governor say more about this too, is what happens if the bond doesn't pass. Well, you miss a tremendous opportunity for economic recovery and jobs. That's one thing. You miss a tremendous opportunity to have a wise investment as far as bonding while the rates are lower than the rate of inflation. That means that if you wait, you'll pay more for it later. You'll have additional deterioration. You miss the opportunity for providing safer roads for our citizens. And then the final thing is, if you don't have the road bond, you have to contract a lot of this stuff. You lose this entire green slice, and then you have to do all the work with what's left, and that makes it very, very difficult for us at the highways. So what I'd like to do now, and I think the governor is ready to come on in. Governor Justice is the man who came up with this vision, this plan. It's big, $2.6 billion with associated growth that goes beyond that. It's bold, 48,000 immediate jobs, and it provides for immediate economic recovery and hope. So with that, I'm going to welcome Governor Jim Justice, our 36th governor.
Hello, everybody. How y'all doing? Y'all look happy. That's good. Okay, I gotta get all situated here. Well, thank y'all for coming. And, how you doing there, Mr. Blair? Very good. Said, I think we've got some lawmakers and everything. If y'all could stand, we could give you a big round of applause. Well, you've heard people, I'm sure, speak already in regard to the situation we've got coming up real soon. We've got one more day of early voting. And then we've got a big election on October 7th. In my opinion, the biggest election that we've ever had in this state. Now, I've gone through my spiel over and over and over today, and I'm kind of halfway out of breath from the standpoint of saying the same thing over and over. But the net of the whole thing, the way I see it, is just this simple. and that is, what are you looking at? I hope I haven't passed out yet, but you look at it. But nevertheless, I don't see any downside from a yes vote. And I see catastrophe from a no vote. Now, you may see it differently, and I have all the respect in the world for you if you see it differently. That's fine with me. I do believe that the voter turnout is not going to be high, and I do believe that it's going to pass overwhelmingly. But I have no guarantee to that whatsoever. Now, the reason I say that is just this, is the no vote is surely going to almost ensure that we're going to have to go in and make some more significant, really significant cuts to government. There's no question whatsoever, and those cuts could be anything. I mean, they could be Medicaid, they could be DHHR, they could be K through 12, they could be, there's no hope of teacher pay raise going through. They could be our vets, they could be whatever. You know, pick a winner. The bottom line of the whole thing is just this. We do know we've still got a significant deficit to contend with. How are we going to do that? What are we going to do? You know, I've asked that question over and over and over and over and over. There are those that believe that we could just go in and make unbelievable cuts because our population's going down. You know, I would argue with you that if you start down that path, it's going to be mighty tough. It's going to be mighty tough. Now, on the other hand, the funding is in place by votes of 34-0 in the Senate and 90 to 8 in the House. And the funding is right there. There is no new taxes. There is no new taxes whatsoever. And for those of you that have been led to believe that there's going to be additional new taxes and everything, that's just hocus pocus. That's all there is to it. So you got to make a decision. And the decision to me is just as simple as this, and this is the easiest way to explain it. You're going to pay that no matter what. That's all there is to it. So, you know, here's the deal. Let's just say that Jim Justice rolled into Martinsburg and said, tell you what I got. I got $10 million in my pocket. And, you know, there's really, the pocket's a whole lot bigger than $10 million. But I got $10 million in my pocket, and I want to spend it on building roads. And we're going to employ so many people. Do you want to do it or not? It's just that simple. Do you want to do it or not? If you don't do it, you're going to have to turn and you're going to have to do some things that are going to be doggone tough. I honestly think that if you don't do it, you're going to turn and it will be catastrophic what you'll have to do. And nobody at the end of the road, they may say they can do it and they really want to do it, but when it comes to crunch time, it'll be really, really, really difficult. Now, on the other hand, if you don't do it, you're not going to get your roads built. That's one thing for certain. Opportunity with new highways and with repaired highways will be tremendously greater. You won't get your roads built, or it will take forever to get your roads built, no matter what you say. That's one thing for sure. You won't get immediate jobs that will generate a fortune of revenue, and you'll have to make the cuts. On the other hand, you're going to pay this anyway. So, I could go on and on, but I'm not. I'm going to let you ask what you want, and then I'll try to answer it as best I can. You know, there's no point in me breaking my neck and trying to sell you on something. You know, if you truly in your heart believe that this is not the thing to do because you're concerned maybe we're not gonna, every job's not gonna go to a West Virginian, or maybe we're gonna go in debt and we need to pay as we go and everything. You've got the best people that are right in here, right? Whether it be, you know, labor, or it be, you know, business, or whether it be the best transportation guy we've ever had on the planet. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. Senator Blair, I said it at the other place and everything, and I hope I'm not going to get in trouble by saying this, Craig, but he sent me a text and said this is like you have a leak in your roof, and you got to make a decision. You're either going to go borrow the money and fix the leak in the roof, or not. And if you don't, it sure as it dickens, it's going to do more damage to your house, and it's going to get bigger. And it's going to cost a lot more. Now, you got a decision to make. I say a no vote almost guarantees you this. I had another person in another town hall, not today. I've been in the Panhandle all day today, but you know, I had another person in another town hall say to me, well, you know what I don't like about this? I don't like the fact that you're going to have all those orange and white cones out there on the roads, and they're going to slow me down. You know, well, that's right. And then he said, but what I'm really concerned about is what are you going to do to guarantee that my 3 teenagers can stay in this state and have opportunity and have jobs? And I thought to myself, well, I don't really know exactly what to say to this young man, because I'm sure he's a good man. But I said to him, I'll tell you what you do. And I want you to go home. And I want you to talk to your kids, and I want you to tell them that you can almost guarantee them by your no vote that they're going to have to leave West Virginia to get a job. Now, let me just say one last thing. You live in an area that is thriving. You live in an area that you know you need roads. There's no question about that. And bottlenecks and everything, you know you need roads. But you live in an area that ought to be teaching Charleston a lot about what to do. The unfortunate thing is there's lots and lots and lots of places around this state that are really, really, really hurting. And they don't live in this kind of area. And the fallout back to you is because maybe of their difficult times, state government has to do things for everybody. And the perfect example of that is the teacher's pay raise. You've got 600 or whatever classrooms that you don't have a teacher in up here. And they go across state lines and they make a lot more money, and who wouldn't? Who wouldn't? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Now, on the other hand, if you create a situation where you've got real revenue coming and real jobs and real opportunity, and I promise you right behind all this is going to spend a Trump infrastructure thing in 2 or 3 years that will dovetail right into this, and you got somebody that has the ear of the president and the ability to call the president. Now, you can throw mud at me, and that's fine and dandy if you choose to do so. But of all people, you've never had anybody that could talk to the President of the United States like I can. And I can help you there. I can help our state there. So ask me anything you choose to ask. Don't be shy now.
How you doing, Governor?
I'm good, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing great. My name is Doug Copenhaver. I'm the president of Roadstoprosperity.ww.gov. We
Right.
spoke before on the radio with Hans.
Right.
I don't know if you remember, but I do support your road bond. I think prosperity in Berkeley County and the state of West Virginia needs our road infrastructure to be successful. One of the things I just want to make some points, more so than questions, if you don't mind.
Okay.
One of the things that the state is suffering, like you said before, 1 out of 2 West Virginians aren't working currently right now. So somewhere or another, it's costing the state money to subsidize their revenue, you know, and support them. And then the other part of it is this state, as you know, is hit with this drug epidemic. And a lot of it's caused because these people aren't working. So when you start thinking about that, if you're able to put 40,000 people back to work, they're going to start feeling good about themselves. And it's not going to cost you all the money that you think, because you're going to save in other places. The other thing is, it's my job to make sure Berkeley County gets their fair shake. And as you said, Berkeley County's been very prosperous. We've worked very, very hard to get there. We brought a lot of industrial businesses in, a lot of commercial, and there's a lot of people looking right now. So one of the things that I need to do as the president of the county council to make sure that you're aware of that. I'm not going to make a big fuss out of it. You're aware of it, and I'd like to make sure that you, the governor, and the state of West Virginia, make sure that we in Berkeley County get our fair share. I know that we're very small in land mass, but we're the fastest growing county in the state of West Virginia. We're the second populous county in the state of West Virginia. So therefore, we may not have as much road, but we have more people traveling the roads that we have. So the chances of us having an accident is tremendously more than what it would be in less populous counties. So that's all. I support the bonds. I wish you well on election day, and thank you for being in Berkeley County.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for all you do. Let me just say this, sir, before you go. Let me say one thing to this gentleman. Sir, no, I'm wired up. They got me ready to go. We all know of the strife a lot of places within our state. And I can tell you of roads where it's just treacherous for a school bus to go every day. And it's really sad. But we need to reward our winners too. And this is a winner. I mean, we need to do everything we possibly can to make Berkeley County and your lives in the Eastern Panhandle, what you're doing, so much better without disrupting your standard of living too in every way. But we need, anybody that knows anything about trading stocks, when things start going good, you continue to bet on the winners. And really and truly, we need to some way, somehow take care of those that are really hurting, but we need to reward the winners too. Thank you.
Governor George Caris, Mayor of the City of Martinsburg, I just want to convey to you some good news. The City Council unanimously voted the other evening to support the bond levy, and we have sent that vote to West Virginia Municipal League, Lisa Dooley. So there's a bit of good news from the Eastern Panhandle.
Thank you so much.
I'm not going to stand my
No, please, sir. You're great.
I'm Dr. Slazak. I represent the people of Warm Springs Avenue.
Right.
And we have the support of the County Council, the Sheriff's Department, and our elected officials, which is John Overton and John Unger.
Right.
We have the petition signed by every person there, including all of the businesses, asking for 4 stop signs, actually 5, to slow traffic down. We've had a lady that was hit broadside, shattered her hip and 4 other fractures. We've had 4 hit and runs that are non-reported this year alone. We have people that skid past the school buses with their lights on because they're going so fast. And the Sheriff's Department has actually said in the letter, this is a dangerous road and we need the help, but we can't get it from the Highway Department. So we're hoping that you will look this over and see if you can help us.
Well, I'd love to. If you'll give it to me, please, sir. And now I get to keep this?
Yes, sir. You'll see the signatures of all the people in there, starting on the second page.
I totally understand. And look, let me just say this. I'm a safety nut. I really am. And if you've got a situation to where it's unsafe, then we need to give it our undivided attention. That's all there's to it.
Well, sir, we have a 4-way stop, 4-way entry to an intersection and 1 stop sign. So 3 streets can actually go through there at the same time with no signs.
Well, will you trust me on this? And I'll promise you I'll follow up. I will promise you with all my soul that I won't follow up in 3 weeks. I'll follow up right this minute, because I'm going to direct this man, who is our Secretary of Transportation, and his name is Tom Smith, and Tom is a good man that genuinely cares, and I'm going to tell him as my secretary with absolute right now in front of God and everybody to get back in touch with you immediately in regard to this, because if it is genuinely a safety issue and all these residents are supportive, then we got to do something about it.
Well, sir, we contacted DeBay Churchill, and she had Clohan call us. This is May 13th, and he promised us a report within 30 days so we could go up in front of the council. We're still waiting.
Maybe he counts like Mr. Ed or something like that.
Well,
You know,
Delegate
but I don't
Overington-
count that way.
Delegate Overington wrote a letter to Thorne,
Right.
and he said he would reply to it as of this afternoon when I spoke face-to-face with the delegate.
Right.
He has not heard a thing, and that's since August.
Well, this man is all their boss, and he'll get it done.
Thank you,
By the
sir.
end of the week, sir.
Thank you.
I was trying to stay.
No, you don't need to stand. I can't really stand up. No point in you standing up.
My name is Samson Wright, and I'm just a citizen. But I know most of these folks. I know Jack, I know Jason, I know Craig Blair, I know Eric, I know Travis, I know a lot of these folks.
Sure.
I look at this, I hear what you say, and I go do research. I'm a retired CPA. And what I find is Wood County, Berkeley County, Jefferson County Republicans say it's a bad deal. Don't vote for it. The state party says it's a bad deal. Don't vote for it. Ballotpedia says it's a bad deal. Don't vote for it. I hear this, no new taxes. That is absolutely not true. There's no way to know, because the language says when a bond issue, as aforementioned, is authorized, the legislature shall at the same time provide for the collection of an annual state tax sufficient to pay as it may accrue the interest. So what that says is, whatever it takes, the legislature is going to have to tax us to get it. So if there's the slightest downturn, that general obligation bond is going to get paid by increased taxes, irrespective of what you or any other gentleman say. That's cooked into the deal. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, I'm a little bit resentful of the scare tactics that are used. Why do we have to do that? I mean, I understand for business, but the state, our elected officials. Travis, what do you think? Scare tactics influence you?
I'd rather have facts.
Jack?
We go by facts.
Where's Michael? March. Some facts we want?
Well, you know that the way that I make decisions, especially in combat, is based on logic rather than emotion.
Thank you.
Emotion will get you killed. It'll destroy you.
There's a lot of good, well-meaning people in our home state of West Virginia that base their decisions on emotion. It stands to reason we should stand against this.
I voted against it. My wife voted against it. I voted against it because I had to vote early because I'm working the polls. So my point is that you're not doing anybody any favors with the scare tactics. And you got to get off this crap about no more taxes, no new taxes. That is just not determinable. It's not true. We don't know. So I would strongly advise you, don't keep saying that. Nobody believes it. It offends us. Now, I read today where Michael's not here. Oh, there he is. Michael was identified as
Bizarre, I believe it was.
bizarre,
Yeah.
and the people that supported him were somehow mentally deficient.
Yeah.
Well, I walked the doors for Michael. I gave money to Michael. Michael's my delegate. He's my neighbor. I'd like to believe he's a family friend. So I'm just a tad bit resentful of the fact that you have to stoop to that level to sell this thing. It bothers me.
Now, I listen, now, and I want to respond, okay? 90 to 8, your House representatives. 90 to 8. 34 to 0, your senators in the state. 34 to 0. Now, contrary to what you may think, everybody within state government that is in my administration has run the numbers till they're blue-green, and they believe with all their soul, no new taxes. That's what they believe. Now, I have to depend and believe that what they report to me. Now, you talk about scare tactics when you get up and say that your taxes could go up. I don't believe that at all. We could get hit by a meteorite. There's no question about that. So what are we going to do? Crawl in a hole and stay there forevermore? Well, I'm not going to crawl in a hole. You know, I don't believe that. You're scaring people way, way, way more than I'm scaring people. I'm just telling you point blank, just fact. If this doesn't go, you're going to have to cut all kinds of stuff. And maybe you delight in that. Maybe in your world that's okay. But to a lot of people out there, that's really going to hurt them. And I can tell you just this. When I got out of the parking lot in Berkeley Springs, they handed me a sheet of paper that Michael was circulating around. And tomorrow, I'm going to hand that to my attorneys. It is defamatory, and it is suggesting that I'm getting kickbacks or different things like that aren't any good. And we'll see what comes of it. I don't think that's any good. I just don't think that's any good. And we'll see what the net of that whole thing is. I truly believe that I believe the same things that you believe in many, many, many ways. But I truly believe that if we don't pass this roads thing, we're going to miss the greatest opportunity in the history of all time. And I believe that it's going to pass overwhelmingly. Yes, sir.
Governor Justice, my name's David. I live in the city of Martinsburg. Nice to meet you.
Good to see you.
I'm definitely on your side on this road plan. There's been miscommunication among the press, not press, but we're in the area. I'm 43 and my family's from Kaiser and Moorville, Hardy County.
Right.
And I went so many times up over 55 to see my family, and it's so dangerous behind log trucks and chicken trucks, and it's kind of so much safer, less car wrecks, and like so much more economic development of that area since quarter H has been developed. And I would love to see the whole road finished in my lifetime. And even Judge County would gain from this road plan. Ward County, the hospital route from 522 to the hospital, that's definitely needed. So whether we like it or not, the tax has already been passed. And so we here, like you said, fix our ceiling now or wait and make our payments go higher. So I definitely want your plan, and I urge you all to vote yes come this Saturday. Thank you.
Welcome to the Eastern Panhandle.
Okay.
And the good people of the Eastern Panhandle welcomed me many years ago. Sadly, I would have loved to stay in my home county of Fayette County, but those opportunities just didn't present themselves. Governor, I'm looking over your chart 2. Some things come to question. If you can explain, well, I see the Wyoming County, and again, from Fayette County, $177 million. Let's see. We have McDowell County, $32 million. Fayette County, $46 million. Many years ago, I remember John Pino sharing with me how proud he was that there was an improvement to be made to the Loch Ellie accident in Oak Hill. That is a beautiful, beautiful interchange, and it would efficiently move traffic, if only for one thing. There's no traffic. Please tell me that we're going to proportionally spend this money. I'm for the betterment of all of West Virginia. Unfortunately, I would love to move back to Fayette. No, I'm going to stay here. And I'm going to be a pain in the...
God, Jason.
No.
Amen.
Governor, I know in my heart that we want the same thing. Tell me that we have the best interest of all of West Virginia.
Well, I would surely hope to goodness, and I have not ever told this man, let's work on the roads in southern West Virginia, let's work on the roads in the eastern panhandle, let's work on the roads. They, through all their wisdom in the highway department, came up with the roads that had been engineered, the roads that the environmental had been done. That's the roads they go to work on. And that's the whole premise of this whole thing is just this. Let me just ask one thing. And you know, because, you know, with a lot of, you know, I'm wasting my breath, you know, but I can tell you this, what if I came, and this is the most simple question, what if I came with that $10 million, and I said, I want to spend $10 million in Berkeley, or I want to spend $10 million in Jefferson County, or whatever, I want to build a road. I'm going to create X number of jobs, and we're going to build a road. Could you be against it?
If it was my brother that lived in Jefferson County, I would tell you no, he's a deadbeat. We have to spend money.
I have no clue. I mean, I don't.
I just use that as an analogy.
But then let's just don't do the roads. Let's just don't do them. And then tell me, how are you going to balance the budget? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do about getting those teachers in the classrooms? What are you going to do? Nobody can tell me what to do.
May I have a microphone?
Oh, sure.
Because actually we did tell you what to do, sir, and you returned it to us with a pile of cow mess on top of it. If I remember
But I don't
correctly.
grandstand. We don't.
No, sir, I'm not
show.
grandstanding. I'm responding to what you said. You said nobody can tell you what to do. Actually, we did. We developed a balanced budget. And you returned it to us, and talk about grandstanding. You called this huge press conference, and you had all the high monkey mucks from the state out there. I'm using his rhetorical style, you don't see that. Anyway, and you returned it to us with a pile of cow feces on top of it. That's grandstanding. That's grandstanding. That is grandstanding. Me sitting here talking to you about real principles, about the way things really work, about saying, let's set aside all these emotions and let's talk about real principles about the way the world really works. And you say, here's a pile of cow crap. Now that's grandstanding, Governor. Anyway, here's the thing. Here's what I stood up to say. The first thing is the government produces nothing, okay? The government does not produce any wealth at all. You do. You people produce the wealth. Businesses produce the wealth. The only way the government can get wealth is to take it from you out of your pocket. That's it. That's the only way. Now they can borrow money, but guess who gets to pay it back? You do. You who develop the wealth. You who actually make things happen. All the government can do is take your money away from you and redistribute it. Now here's the thing. The legislature did in fact pass these bills the governor's talking about. They raised your fees, they raised your taxes, and I say they because I didn't vote for it. I was one of those 8 people, and I'm honored to be one of those 8 people. Here's the thing. You can either use the money you've got, now that that's passed, now that the governor signed it, now that money is coming out of your pocket, now the government's hand is a little deeper into your pocket. Let's go ahead and use that money. Let's use it wisely. Let's use it according to the principles of fiscal responsibility. And let's build the roads. Let's repair the roads. Let's not put ourselves deeper into debt, put our grandkids deeper into debt, using money we don't have that's going to have to be taken from them later, because it's going to have to be taken from them because the government, excuse me, sir, I meant to say government. The government produces zero. That's all there is to it, okay? Now, so what you're talking about is you're talking about borrowing money, comes at interest, that interest has to be paid. You can either use the money you've actually got coming in, the way that you run your family budget, the way that you run your business budget, and you can actually do the job with the money you've got, or you can go deeper into debt. You can end up paying more money for the same work just to get it done a little bit faster. That is not fiscally responsible. What'd you say, Travis?
It's called gambling.
It's not fiscally responsible. It is not what we're here for. You elect people to represent you, to represent your interest. We work for you. We are your elected employees. We're not your bosses. We're not in charge here. We work for you. And if you feel like that's cow crap, sir, I feel sorry for you. Thank you for your time.
Alrighty, Governor, I'm John Kidwell from Martinsburg here. It's my first time I've ever been to one of these settings, so I'm a little nervous. But I guess one question I have is the DMV tax of the $20 more I had to pay when I went and did my car. One, where's that money going to? And is that being used to fix the roads up? Okay? And then...
It is.
Yeah, and that's what I'm sitting back here trying to figure out how many cars do we have in West Virginia? I'm just a simple person, you know.
I think it's about $30 million a year.
$30 million a year is coming in.
I think it's close.
So 10 years.
40 million.
So 10 years would be $4 billion, maybe.
No.
For what? 4 million. Okay. 400 million. I mean, I'm just sitting back here thinking, you know, I'd rather use it as it comes in. That's my personal thing. And you made a comment about fear when you did speak with your tone and your not demonic. I apologize for that. Your doomsday thing, when you described it, I did have fear in my heart when you said, "What are we going to do? There's going to be nothing to do. You know, how are we going to do it?" You did put fear in my heart, okay? Just as a common, everyday person, I had fear in my heart when you said that, okay? I don't think it's that scary. I think $400 million, I think we'll work with that each day, every year, for 10 years, and have plenty of roads taken care of. That's just my personal opinion, okay? And a little bit on the funny side of it, I live on Ridge Road where Craig Blair lives at, and half the road got paved, Craig, so if you could help pave my end, okay? Bring it on, okay? I'm just joking about that. I'm really just kind of joking about that, because we got new housing development on that end of the road, but I voted for Craig every time. That wasn't being mean, okay? Because I'm here just to have, as a West Virginian, okay, wanting what's right. That's all I'm here for. I want what's right. And that's it, okay? Thank you for your time, Governor.
Governor, my name is Jim Daly. And as I look around this room, there's probably only one other person in this room that's older than I am, and that's the mayor of Martinsburg. But he'll remember this, because I remember it as a kid. When that interstate right outside here was built, there were people all over this community that were totally against building I-81. That's an example of what new roads will do for a community. And that's an example of what a new road will do for the rest of West Virginia. Some of you folks who are implants and were not part of this area, George, in my line, there were lots of people. John, you had a relative that was against this road being built.
You're correct.
Am I not right?
You're correct.
Look what it's done for Berkeley County.
But if you know anything about topography, explain that to me when it comes up.
We're not building, we're
Wyoming County.
I'm pretty sure nobody here's against roads, sir.
well, what are you against? So what do you, so tell me what you're against, man.
Okay, now hold on. Let me tell you this. I've been all over Kingdom County. I'm not gonna sit here in a food fight.
Right.
I'm not gonna do that. I got too many things to do.
What I'm trying to say, Governor, is you're doing the right thing. The legislators, the senators 34-0, the delegates 90-8. Is that the number?
90 days.
Fellas, that's the answer. Those guys are responsible for where your dollars go. We as a citizenry have to accept what they decide. And I'm going to follow this governor, I'm going to follow his red line. Well, you can certainly take your position, and your position is well-founded. But look at that interstate out there. Did you come across it today? I'll bet you did. And if you did, then you used that economic development that was done many, 40 years ago.
If you don't want the roads done this way, you obviously don't want the roads done.
Let me say this. Well, no, y'all go ahead.
Governor, my name is Kevin Knowles. I'm a city councilman in the city of Martinsburg, and I also I handle the drug and alcohol treatment policies for county, Berkeley County. I want to tell you today I went and voted, and I voted for your road amendment. I also voted as part of the city council to put that through to the West Virginia Municipal League. What I heard earlier before is about putting people back to work. I see people die every day as a direct result of the drug epidemic that we're seeing. Anything that can help in that area to put people's lives back together so that they can spend a wonderful life with their children, their mothers, their fathers, their brothers and sisters, I totally support. I grew up with a father that taught me a long time ago to always respect the position. I totally respect your position. I totally respect you as governor, and welcome to the Eastern Panhandle and the city of Martinsburg.
He's not with us.
Governor, I'm Tina Combs, the president of the Martinsburg-Berkeley County Chamber of Commerce. We represent about 500 businesses and organizations, and we too have voted to support this. And I voted yesterday. So thank you so much for being in this area.
Hello, my name is Jack Effestay. I live in Jefferson County. Sorry I missed your trip down there earlier today. I'm on the Jefferson County Republican Executive Committee, and I'm on the Jefferson County Planning Commission. I'm a retired U.S. Navy captain and retired from Lockheed Martin. And the question I have is that you've repeatedly stated that you're going to bring jobs to West Virginia. And with this bond issue, what percentage of the people that are going to be hired will be West Virginia residents? I hope you're going to tell me 100%.
Well, I can't tell you 100%. There's no way I can tell you that, because I'm not going to not tell you anything but the truth. I would tell you that I would hope in my heart that it would be 100% in every way. Our tech schools, our community colleges, and everybody's going to have to amp up their whole deal. We've got too many people today that can't pass a drug test. But I can tell you that no matter if the percentage is 40% or 70%, it's a hell of a lot of jobs for West Virginians. A hell of a lot of jobs for West Virginians. And I can tell you that every day that goes by, there'll be more of a higher percentage of those filled by West Virginians than there won't be. Now the other flip side of it is just this. We all know that we've got contractors that have worked, that are out-of-state contractors or working whomever, part-time, migrant, whatever workers. And some of them have gotten by with not paying their taxes as they should to our state. And I'll promise you, we're all over that like snake on you know what. And we will do the job to collect our taxes on that. But let me just say one step further. Let's say you've got an out-of-state worker, worst case scenario to me, because I want all these jobs to be filled by West Virginians. Look, let me tell all of you this. Before I go any further, let me just do this. You know, we had a terrible tragedy happen in Las Vegas, and we ought to take at least time to maybe bow our heads and just have a moment of silence for all those people. So let's do that first of all. Okay. Now let me tell you this. And I want you to ask yourself this. Do you think I need to be governor of the state of West Virginia for Jim Justice? Have you lost your blooming mind? I mean, why am I up here? I mean, really and truly, I'm here for you. I'm not here for me. And there's nothing you can do for me. There's nothing you can do for me. Nothing. You know, I doubt I'll run for re-election. Are you proud of yourself?
Yes, sir.
I mean, are you proud of yourself acting like an 18-carat ass? I mean, you don't need to do that.
Excuse me.
You don't need to do that. You know? Now.
And when you make an announcement of good news, I'm not supposed to applaud.
You gave a big-winded, hot-winded thing. You never said a few minutes ago what you were going to do to cut to balance the budget. Now, don't do it again, please.
Sir, we said your budget.
Please just sit down. You talked long enough a minute ago. You went through all this rigmarole about government taking money, but you never said, are you willing, really, to close a college? Are you really willing to cut the HHR?
It was in the budget.
I'm sorry?
We did, actually. We said that. It was all laid out in the budget.
And at the end of the day, I had an avalanche of your party then run to me saying, please, you have to veto this.
Really? Could you give us their names?
Oh, absolutely. I could give you a list of names a mile long.
That would be fantastic.
Please veto this, because we can't own this. We can't possibly own this. That's the budget that you sent to me. That's a budget with the cow do. The net of the whole thing is just this. I am truly, truly here, and I'm here with a good heart. And I'm here to try to tell you whether you, and I've got all the respect for you in the world.
Is that why you call us knuckleheads? Because you respect us? Or vile? Is that respect, sir? Or returning cow poop? That's respect?
I'm not going to volley with you. I said that I've got all the respect for you, and I haven't heard you say anything back to me, you know.
Right.
But that's your choice, you know. The bottom line of the whole thing is just this. I don't really think there's any need in continuing on. You know, you've got a host of people here that are business leaders and everything else, that they're all saying, we're all in. And you've got some people that are, whatever it may be, that are saying, we don't want to do this. And I would tell you, sir, in Fayette County, you don't know what it's like if you haven't been there recently. You know, now just listen to me, okay? I am telling you that roads are the pavement on the road, not the shoulder. The pavement on the road is washed away. And it's straight down 40 feet. Straight down. And a school bus is driving on it every day. You know, now, hold up just 1 second, please. I am telling you that the Coalfield Expressway in Wyoming County has been in the planning stages for 27 years. 27 years. There's no question. I led off by saying we need to reward the winners. And Berkeley County is a big-time winner. And I am all for that. I am just telling you that I'm following the lead of a guy that I put in the transportation office and everything that's a superstar. Now, I'm not going to volley with you. You know, I'm just not going to do that. I'm not going to say bad things about you, and I expect you to not say them about me. Now, it's my way to call people knuckleheads. For God's sakes, living, you probably called me a lot worse than that. And that's okay. I would say this in the very ending of what I'm going to say, and that's just this. It doesn't matter to me if you love me or hate me. I don't care. I really don't care. I know my dad gave so much. I would venture to say this, and this is going to sound egotistical, but there's not anybody in this room that's done more for this state than me and cared more for our people than I have. No way. No way. Nobody here that's given back more and tried to help more people. No way. No way. Now, I'll tell you in the end, I'll just say this. If you want to vote against this, do. I don't know where we'll turn, but I can promise you that wherever we turn, it'll be tough. It'll be really, really tough. I do not believe that we'll raise taxes in any way, shape, form, or fashion, and I could sign that in a blood oath. We're not going to do that. Now, you may roll your eyes or whatever you may choose to do. That's up to you. And you may have had some buddies that have convinced you that this is the way to go. But the real nitty-gritty is just this. If this doesn't pass, your road projects are going to be shoved back beyond all good sense. They're not going to get done. And if the road projects aren't getting done, that means that people are not out there working by the thousands. And if they're not there by the thousands, then the money's not coming in. And if the money doesn't come in, you're going to have to deal with it. Now listen, I've had a long day, and I'm proud to have been here with you. And I've played against Martinsburg a lot of times where I've been coaching on the other, and I've been coming up on the short end of the stick an awful lot of times. But I do mean this when I tell you that I love you. I'm really proud of switching to the Republican side. I have a relationship with the guy that's the President of the United States that can help us in every way. You can push against and you can fight back and everything else all you want. I'm not going to pay attention to it. God bless you. Be good. Thank you.